Thanks for joining me this week on the show for a short and sweet solo episode. I'm exploring the concept of enough. So if you've been feeling pressure lately, if you've been feeling the grind, the pursuit of more success, health, the ultimate in all areas, I hope you will sit back and relax, give yourself a few minutes to enjoy this conversation with me as we explore what it might feel like to lighten your load, to take some pressure off, and to discover what is enough for you, for your happiness, for your health, for your peace of mind, and your success. It's time to flip the script on stress and learn how to thrive today and throughout your days. Join me for inspiration and interviews with folks who are shining their light in the world in the areas of positive mindset, health, and well-being. I'm your host, Susi Vine. Let's get happified. Welcome back. I am so happy to be joining you this week for a little solo episode, an exploration of enough. Thanks for joining me this week on the show. I hope that you have been doing well in these crazy times. I don't know about you, but I can speak for myself and for the folks who are close to me, but there's been a lot of change, quite a bit of chaos, and not all of the transitions that I have been experiencing myself and seeing dear ones go through have been easy ones. So wherever you are and however you are doing in the midst of these transitions, these times, know that I am sending you love and I am sending you peace and patience with the process. And today I do want to take a bit of a deep dive into this idea, this concept of what is enough. As you can see, if you have been watching and following along on the video versions of this podcast, I am not in my usual situation. I am glamping. My husband and I just last week moved from our home, and we are now tiny home dwellers. We are living in North San Diego County now, and these are our new environs. Now, I might pretty things up with an artificial background, but I figured for this week's conversation, let's just be real, right? So have a seat, pour yourself a nice beverage to refresh or relax yourself and listen in. Or if I'm keeping you company on the drive, keep both hands on the wheel and let this give you some good food for thought. So this week, and actually leading up to it, within the span of the last month, a lot of things have changed radically for myself and my husband. As I already mentioned, we moved, but really over the last 6 months, we have had a lot of change, a lot of big life events coming down the line, and we have been keeping up as best we can. But more and more, this concept has been rolling around in my brain in all of that copious free time about how we can find satisfaction, how we can find fulfillment and make peace with the idea of enough. Because even on this podcast called Happified, really the name comes from the idea of pursuing and claiming your happiness in the midst of this crazy world that we are all living in together. Claiming your happiness. And what does that mean? And what does that look like? And I know that a lot of people are triggered by the concept of happiness because it feels unattainable to them. And so I have been in my own way and throughout these episodes trying to redefine what happiness means, trying to take the pressure off and help it feel like it is already within reach. So how does happiness balance with this concept of enough when we are in this Western lifestyle raised and trained to pursue success, to pursue financial stability, to pursue a bigger and more beautiful home, to pursue enough of the right kind of friends that lift us up instead of holding us back, to pursue the trappings of a life that others deem successful. Have you been feeling caught up in that lately? I have been. And more, I've been wondering about what does it look like to make peace with enough? What is enough financial success? Does it need to be qualifying for a beautiful brand new car, to be putting in for a newer, larger home and taking on a bigger mortgage? Does enough look like having less and appreciating what you have even more? What is enough happiness? What is enough of a circle of friends, in a romantic relationship, in health, right? So many influencers are biohackers and teaching you to have the best sleep and the most productive breath and the highest nutrition and the most challenging and physically rewarding exercise. And simply getting through every day can feel pretty overwhelming. And when we start to put these superlatives on top of it in these expectations for ourselves, I don't know about you, but I tend to feel a lot of overwhelm. And so, really, as I've been sitting with and exploring this concept of enough, and as life has served up this lesson, as my husband and I moved from our 2,200 square foot home, over 2,000 square feet for the two of us. At times, we shared space. We had a space that we would rent out and had roommates at times over the years. But primarily, we could do whatever we wanted with that space, and a big, beautiful yard, a large garage, plenty of storage. He lived there for 30 years. I lived there for 17. And I never had to downsize. I did several times through the years. I would declutter, I would review, I would make donation runs, as I went through my closet to make room for a couple more new things, but never quite like what we undertook in this last month. And we have our new home, which is about 200 square feet. And we have 2 storage units for the interim, also about 200 square feet. So we've reduced our entire capacity. I'm not a math wizard, but by about 3/4. And we are making our way. I can't find about half of what I'm looking for, but so far I'm going to survive without my Garmin watch being charged. And I know that we're going to find our plates sooner than later. We are making it by. We are finding our own new definition of enough. And sometimes life serves up these lessons where we have to learn it fast in order to keep finding the bright side, keep finding contentment and satisfaction, whatever easy definition of happiness you might hold for yourself. That's where I land. I aim to feel content. I aim to feel satisfied. I aim to have pleasure and gratitude in the simple things. I don't expect happiness to be life altering and course changing on the regular. Now, those moments of joy and wonder come along, and I savor those and come back to those and look for ways to create those experiences. But I don't expect every day to hold that, because there is a happy enough. There is a having enough wardrobe, dishes, bakeware, office supplies, art and crafting supplies. We fall into these patterns where more is better. Certainly, again, I think that is one of those awards in this Western lifestyle that so many of us have been shaped by and still subscribe to. It's awfully hard to unsubscribe altogether when we work within this system. And I think that the time is coming for a new definition, a revolution. And the concept of living with less is not new. There have been many people speaking in the space of essentialism, of minimalism, of recognizing how much we really can do without, and how liberating, how freeing that is. And I invite you to join me in this experiment. I'm not saying you need to leave your beautiful home, but perhaps the focus can come off of trying to maximize your home, trying to make more space in your home, trying to have a bigger, better, more beautiful home, and recognizing what we have and appreciating what we can do without. And that's a big shift. You might know if I used to work with senior clients in their 80s and 90s, downsizing and decluttering before they moved. And so I worked with many people in helping them recognize what serves them, what brings them joy, what they want to move with them, and what they can release, and working through those emotions as well. And I can say, having been in the hot seat, having been the one to be lightening the load and letting things go, the emotional charge of all of those choices can't be underestimated. It really is a lot. Decision fatigue is something, again, that we experience in our Western lifestyle, but certainly when you go through a move, well, they don't call it a major life event for no reason. So I invite you in this brief conversation that I wanted to hop on and have with you today to share with me, to share in the comments if you're catching the video on YouTube, if you are catching the podcast on Spotify. Now you can comment on the episode, or you can always join the conversation at happifiedlife.com and leave a comment on this episode. I'd love to hear where you are in this pursuit of more, or how you feel about changing the frame and starting to recognize what is enough. What is enough in your home? What is enough in your perfect eating system? It doesn't have to be a diet. We don't have to call it that. But what is enough in terms of your pursuit of better health? Is enough making it to the CrossFit gym 3 to 5 days a week, or is enough feeling strong and capable enough to do what you want to do, to know that your body is healthy and capable, that your bone strength is sufficient, that you are setting a course for lasting health through the habits that you have now? We don't all have to be biohackers in order to be healthy individuals. So let me know how this lands for you. Have you been struggling in this? Do you feel like your pursuit of more has been holding you back in your pursuit of happiness? How does it feel to have permission to settle, if you will, air quotes, settle for enough? I hope that you'll join me in this exercise. This is something that I really want to dig into moving forward. Enjoy the conversation. If this is something that resonates with you, I see a conversation really beginning. Of course, you can always join us in the Facebook group, Live with Less Stress. But I will certainly be bringing more content, more topics to this genre here as we move through these chaotic, these trying times that we are all in, and find ways to make peace with the process, to appreciate what we have, and to lighten our load. So I hope that gives you permission to take a little pressure off. I'd love to hear what you think about it. Any questions, any comments about your own experience. And I look forward to seeing you back here on the show real soon. Until next time, take good care of yourself. Thanks for listening. You'll find all the resources we discussed today online at happifiedlife.com, along with links to subscribe to Happified on your favorite player and a handy search tool so you can search all of our previous episodes. Help us grow by leaving a quick review and share this episode with a friend. Until next time, keep on shining.